It started like this. The SEC said to Ripple, yo, pay me $2 billion for everything you've done wrong. Ripple responded and said, yo, we'll give you $10 million. How does that sound? The SEC then came back and said, girlfriend, you're going to pay us $2 billion. And now we're going to attack your stablecoin launch. We're also going to talk about Grayscale's ETH futures being withdrawn because of regulatory uncertainty. The SEC's damage is done, even if they haven't won yet, because people are bailing. And as always, viewers come first, so I read your comments. Jeremy Touche starts off with some support for the channel. Thank you very much, sir. Jeremy says, dude, the news sucks, but at least we have someone else telling us the truth. Touch that like button and share it. Jeremy, I greatly appreciate it. And I would greatly appreciate if people do hit the like and share button. Now, why am I so late today? Well, because at 2 in the morning, I was woken up by a tornado warning. Yes, severe storms hit us last night, and I just now got my power back about 12 hours later. So how was your overnight of sleeping? Bitcoin sitting at 6288, ETH 3012 BNB. Look at that, close to 600. Toncoin pushing back, 633. XRP sitting at 51.8, while XLM, who we're going to touch just a little bit here, sitting at 10.7. Melting faces. I did a story about XLM, big turning point. Brad Tay says, you don't understand what is built on XLM, SHX, and VLO. SHX just bought ISO 20002 Labs connected ways. Oh, shut up. Basically what happened was I showed everyone that the 125 million payments a quarter processed on the Stellar chain, that most of them are scams, BS, and amount to less than a penny. So be excited as the same tool bag send that penny back and forth to make it look like trillions are flowing when actually pennies are flowing. Grayscale's filing for an ETH futures ETF withdrawn. This is not good. Grayscale's proposal to list exchange-traded funds ETFs tied to the price of Ethereum was recently withdrawn according to a notice by the SEC. NYSE Arca, the platform Grayscale's ETF would have been listed on if approved, withdrew the proposal ahead of the anticipated decision by the regulator on similar assets from Van Eck, ARK Investments, 21 Shares, and others. The decisions raised concerns amongst these asset managers who anticipate the SEC will likely decline similar applications following meetings with regulators. Now, a few days ago, I did a story about how Saylor said, look, once the SEC rejects the ETH action, basically the whole market is going to be labeled as securities, and anything under ETH, well, would be worthless as well, unregistered securities. Additionally, Grayscale's bid to convert its existing Grayscale Ethereum Trust into a spot ETF is pending approval. The firm contends that the SEC's approval of ETH futures ETF sets a precedent for approving ETFs tied to cryptocurrency spot price. Basically what they're saying is, look, you're not going to give it to ETH, you're not going to give ETFs for any other cryptocurrency. Let's stick with the SEC because here's my thing. Whether the SEC wins the case with Ripple or loses, I'm saying the damage is done. The fines, the money spent on lawyers, the time lost with development. In a filing on Tuesday, the SEC called Ripple's suggestion a slap on the wrist that would undermine investor protections, saying it would encourage other crypto asset issuers to violate Section 5 by making it remarkably lucrative endeavor. Basically, what the SEC said, look, you know how you said you were only going to give us $10 million? No. If you give us $10 million, basically, you're just paying pennies, kind of like on the Stellar chain, and that wouldn't be a good fine. The SEC noted its proposed penalty was large, but Ripple's proposed penalty would be a slap on the wrist. Here's what they said. To the contrary, it would encourage other crypto asset issuers to violate Section 5 by making it remarkably lucrative endeavor, and thus deprive investors of the disclosures Congress mandates as a mere cost of doing business. Ripple also assures the court it need not be worried about whether it could again violate the U.S. securities laws by pointing to different licenses obtained from different jurisdictions, including those Ripple explains do not treat XRP sales as securities, the SEC lawyers wrote. This argument is akin to saying that a New York restaurant need not obtain a liquor license because it obtained a fishing license in California. Like, this is just... Dude, the SEC is not going to stop, you know? And seriously, it's just like the BS people here saying, oh my God, you don't know what's being built on the Stellar chain. Jack shit, because the price reflects it. But what is being built, or what's trying to be built, is some payment action with Ripple, and the SEC is completely blocking that. Now, when I said earlier that the damage has already been done, I want you to think about this. This comes from Stuart Alderati. I'm going to read this last quote, and then we're going to talk a little XP price action. This is from Stuart. The good news is we are closer than ever to putting this lawsuit behind us, though unfortunately, many are just starting the journey. That's right, because the SEC just issued a Wells notice to Robinhood. The SEC is also going after Coinbase. The SEC's also got some Binance action. The SEC is going after everyone. So even if the case is done with Ripple here in the near future, others are going to be feeling the pain for a while. Now, XRP touched 51 cents twice, but popped up since. Now, it's kind of pumped back down compared to where we were just a few days ago. But right now, we're looking at more buying opportunity for longer because the SEC case is going to drag on. And we've seen that as the case drags on, if you want juicy price action, it's going to take some time. And for real, those storms were messed up last night. Seriously, like, woke up, my son got me, all of a sudden we're looking outside and we're like, oh my gosh, this is bad. Tornado touchdown not too far from here. Bad enough to cancel schools in the area. And when we did a little bit of driving this morning to investigate what it looked like, there was snapped, broken trees everywhere, chainsaw crews cutting stuff from the stuff that fell on the street. It was an absolute mess. The absolute mess, though, that we really should be thinking about is the mess that the SEC has made with crypto and the many different layers that the SEC has made that mess with. It's not just Ripple. It's not just Coinbase, right? It's not just Binance. It's the fact that now you even have people withdrawing applications because they're like, look, they're just going to get rejected. And think about it. Grayscale has been a big crypto proponent, right? A big crypto bolster. And by them backing down, we're like, oh, crap. Maybe the SEC is actually winning even if they're not winning. And that's what I think the delays in the case are all about. It's all about delaying and stalling, stopping things from happening. And we've seen that the SEC is quite successful with that. Think of all the companies. What about Nexo? Remember, Nexo used to be in the United States. Remember, the SEC said, guess what? Every staking service out there is an unregistered security product. It's been an absolute mess. And where do we stand right now? Well, we stand with the SEC saying, girlfriend, you're going to pay us $2 billion. Ripple is saying, nope, we're going to give you $10 million. The two sides are far apart. We are going to go to a jury of peers to determine the penalty because both sides aren't even close. Now, in regards to the penny transactions on the Stellar chain, go look it up yourself. Go hit up a little bit of Stellar Explorer, click on payments, and filter everything through, and you'll see how pathetic it actually is. It's pathetic because transactions are so cheap to move on the chain that you could take $10 and send that bad boy back and forth time and time again and generate millions and millions in volume with just a simple $10 flipperoo back and forth. It's actually pretty pathetic. So let me know what you're doing today because, well, I'm going to be taking out my chainsaw and cutting all the stuff that fell in my property. Oh, this is going to suck. I'll catch you cool cats later because Daddy's going to be playing with the chainsaw.